Evening, everybody. I hope you can hear me okay. If you can let me know in the chat, that would be great. You can let me know in the chat if you can hear me, please. Can you hear me? Can you let me know in the chat? Welcome to my show tonight. Great. Welcome to my show tonight. I wanted to kind of cover quite a few things today. First of all, more outgoings. Obviously, there's a few more rumours of incomings, and I kind of wanted to do this show today just to show you a little bit of history about our current manager, and just to kind of go over his previous squads, just so you're not shocked. And I understand everybody wants new players. I totally get that. But I just want to show you what the managers had in the past, as in squad depth. Just so you maybe want to rein it in a little bit in the hate for FSG and Edwards and Hughes, because a lot of this might be down to the actual head coach. I just want to show you some information. Okay, that's all tonight. I also want to say massive thanks to everyone. I hit 500 subscribers today, which is amazing. I can't thank you all enough. Thanks for the support. And like I always say, if you're a new subscriber, please put your name in the chat and let me know, and I will welcome you, and so will all of the subscribers that are currently in the chat. And if you can please hit the like button, that will be fantastic. Every show I've been getting over 50 likes, which is amazing. It really helps with the algorithm. And I also want my videos to get out there so people can see them, which is great. So what I wanted to cover today, I did see someone ask me when Jamie's coming on. Jamie will be on tomorrow afternoon, but probably at 12:30 or maybe 1. There's another content creator that's doing a show at 12, so I might move it to 1 so I don't kind of cross paths, so people can watch his show and then obviously come onto mine. So I'm going to do a preview show to the Brentford game. I would have done it on Saturday, but I'm not available on Saturday. So I'll do that on Friday afternoon, and I'll probably squeeze in the press conference as well, because that happens at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I'll be able to talk about the slot press conference, which will be interesting. And we'll cover the preview for the match. And then on Monday, I will do a review show with Enns. So I'll be having Enns as my guest on Monday for a review show. And they're about an hour long, so they're not too long. I know people do them for like 2 hours. Like that's too long. So it'll be about an hour. Most of my shows I kind of want to only be on for an hour. If it's like an hour 30, then it's normally because I'm doing something to do with data or something to do with something that's happened over a season. So that takes a little bit longer to go through things like that. So I'm going to try and condense them to an hour. I don't want to keep you too long, and I also don't want to bore you. Anyway, I'm just going to say hello to a couple of people in the chat. Big up Redbird, big up Bear. I've not seen you here before, LFC fan 73. So big up you if you've subscribed. Thank you very much. Big up Keep It Real. Big up Paul. I've not seen you here before either, mate. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. Big up Morton. Big up Gary. Good to see you, mate. Big up H. Big up Panzer. Evening LK. Who else have we got? Evening Neil. Hope you're well. You're always here, Neil. Do you want me to make you a moderator, mate? Let me know. Evening, Scottish Bear. Hope you're well, mate. Evening, Football Talk podcast. Evening, Mike. Yeah, we'll go into a few things, mate, today. All right. Anybody else? Evening, John. Evening, Amarin. I said that wrong. Sorry. I say lots of names wrong and lots of words wrong as well. Sorry. And evening, Colin. I'm all caught up. Okay. So, actually, evening, Oysin. And I think I've missed one more out. No, I haven't. That's it. Okay. Oh, evening, James. And evening, Mango. Evening, Mango. I've not seen you before. If you haven't subscribed, please do, mate. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and we're going to talk about. Oh, did I forget about Morton? Sorry, Morton. Evening, Morton. I'm being told off. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and we're going to talk about. No problem, mate. I've already got moderator. I've already got two moderators, but I just wanted to let you know. Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm going to talk about one transfer, which has happened. Sepp Vandenberg. This is a bit of a mixed one with a lot of fans, because a lot of fans are unhappy that we sold him, but then he never played for us. So I don't know. Like, I don't know how I feel about it, but what I do understand is I think we paid 1.7 million for him. You can probably go and Google that, but I think we actually only paid 1.7 million for him in the end, and we've sold him for 25 million. I know it says 25 million, but there's also 5 million add-ons on that, so we'll actually get 30 million for him in total, and he's got a 17.5% sell-on clause. In case you didn't know, like, that is insane business for a guy that hasn't kicked the ball for us. He just hasn't. Like we don't know what he's going to be. Like, we just don't. Like, he was injured not last season but the season before for most of it, so he's only really had 1.5 good seasons in Germany for Schalke and Mainz, and we've managed to get 25 million quid. That is incredible business. Like, say what you want about Hughes, but for him to pull off that much money, which is going to go directly into Mamadashvili, is a cracking bit of business. Like, it just is. Look, at the end of the day, Slot wanted to keep him. Like, you can go and check that. Like, Slot was happy for him to stay in the squad and fight for his place. However, Sepp clearly made it clear that he wanted to leave. He felt he was a first team player. He wanted to play first team football. Like, this is the problem we've got with Liverpool now. This is a big problem. I think this is the biggest problem that Jurgen Klopp's left us, is players think that they are good enough to play for us now because Jurgen isn't the manager. Because Arne Slot is the manager and he came from little old Feyenoord, players now demand to play. So the likes of Carvalho, like, if you haven't seen the interview, he basically turned around and said, what's the point in being on the bench? Well, the point in being on the bench, mate, is that you work your ass off and you eventually get picked for the greatest team in the world. Like, just because you play for Liverpool doesn't mean you start the game, mate. Like, and this guy is going to wake up to real reality at Brentford, because Thomas Frank has already left him on the bench because he didn't put enough effort in training. And this is what we need to understand. There are players in our team that think they are guaranteed starters because they were under Jurgen. No, they are not. No, they are not. There are players that are going to get dropped, and they're going to find a harsh reality under Slot if they don't put a shift in. And this is what's come to fruition with a couple of kids. Seth van der Berg's one of them. Fabio Carvalho's another one. Tyler Morton's another one. Tyler Morton's out the door next because Tyler Morton said he wants to leave because he wants to play football. Well, he's not happy to be a squad player. There's the door, mate. This is what we've needed for a long time. We've needed this for years. Too many people have coasted at our club and just got away with the bare minimum and still being picked to play every game. There's a reality that's going to kick in with a few guys. Kostas Tsimikas might be one that's going. Like, if you think you're good enough to play, then you work hard to play. But if you think you're going to play just because you're at Liverpool, then you're not, mate. And Edwards and Hughes will sell you, and they'll get really good money for you. That's all I'm going to say on it. Gomez could be another one, by the way. I'm just saying, but we don't want Gomez to go, and we've also said that Gomez is in contention for the Brentford game. So Gomez might be a left back at the Brentford game. I'm just saying, like, he's in contention for the first team. Gomez is going to cost a lot of money for someone. Like you ain't going to sign an England international who's not injury prone. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, you can all sit here and say, oh, he's been injured, but he's had major injuries. That's not injury prone. Like, he had two knee injuries, like two major knee injuries. That's not being injury prone. Injury prone's like Naby Keita or Oxlade-Chamberlain or Kanate, you know, having like a thigh strain or a muscle strain or a hip problem or a calf problem, you know, or a rib problem, or, you know, all those kind of little things, niggly ones. Joe Gomez doesn't get niggly injuries. Joe Gomez gets major injuries and he's out for an extended amount of time. So he's not an injury prone player. He's still only 27. Joe Gomez has played about as much football as a 23-year-old. Like, he's only had 2 years where he's played 3,000 minutes. Like Virgil van Dijk played nearly 4,500 last year alone. Like, this is what we need to kind of understand with some of the players that we've got. Like Gomez is definitely a player that Slot wants. And for me, I think Gomez is our best left back. Like, I just think he's our best left back. Like, I would be happy with Gomez to be our left back and for Robbo to be back up and for us to move Tsimikas on, or for Robbo to be sold and for Tsimikas to be back up. I'm absolutely fine with that. Gomez was the best left back in the country last year. Like he was our third best player. Like, he's proven how good he is because he got picked for the Euros. It's only you had an idiot manager that just didn't pick him, didn't play him, wanted to play Trippier, who Newcastle now want to sell. Shows how good he is. Newcastle want to get rid of him to Everton. Like, Southgate was clueless. Anyway, Gomez will cost 50 plus million. He will. If we're selling Vandenberg, who cost us 1.7 million, and we were getting lowballed by PSV for like 8 million, and Mainz wanted him for like 6 million, and then we sold him for 25 with 5 million add-ons, like, Gomez will cost 50, 60 million. He just will. Like, if Gahey is rated at 65 million, then Gomez is rated at 60 million. It's just a fact, because Gomez can play everywhere, left back, right back, centre back, and plays it really well. Like, I don't know many players in the Premier League that can do that, apart from a couple of lads at Man City, in Akanji and Ake. I just don't. Like, I just don't. Like, how many players can you say can play multiple positions at the back to a high standard all season long? I just don't. I just don't know them. Like, they're unicorns. So Gomez is special. Like, and I think he's a player that we should really, really keep. However, he wants to leave if he's not first team. We may need to change his mind to show him that he is as the left back, but it will be 60 million plus, I think, for Gomez. No low balls for that guy. And the thing is, if we sell Gomez, we buy another Gomez. Okay, so we sell Gomez, we buy another Gomez. Like we buy another player that can play left back, centre back. Maybe we sell Gomez and maybe we buy Mark Gahey. Like it's not beyond the realms of possibility. Or maybe we sell Gomez and maybe we buy Jared Braithwaite, who can also play left back and centre back. And the thing about the Braithwaite thing, actually, I'm going to just bring up this because he's in the Echo. Where is it? Here. So I've just refreshed this actually. So Braithwaite is literally on the front page of the Echo transfers. Okay. So the thing about Braithwaite, and this is what I'll talk about, is who's bidding for Braithwaite? Like, like who is actually signing that guy? Because that guy is available. Like, this is what you need to ask yourself. Like Braithwaite is available for transfer, and Everton wanted 70 million. We all know this. Yeah. Manchester United offered 50, 54, 55, and then they turned him down. Then they turned him down, and then they went up to like 60, I think, and then they ended up getting Lenny Yoro. Okay. Everton need to sell Braithwaite because Everton need the money. Like they are in deep doo doo. Like they really are. Like they're under investigation for PSR again, which means they're probably going to be deducted more money. More numbers. So they could be deducted another 6 points next season. So you have a guy that lives in Liverpool. So you haven't got the whole London pull or coming over to the UK issue because he actually lives in Liverpool and he likes it there. And you've also got a guy that isn't homegrown. Like he didn't come from Everton's youth team. I think he came from Barnsley or Chesterfield or Stockport or somewhere like that. Like he makes a lot of sense. And he was also on the verge of the England squad with Quansah. Like you are literally talking about the two England centre backs of the next 10 years playing next to each other, and they both play for Liverpool. Are you trying to tell me that building that relationship does not make sense? Because that makes a lot of sense to me. Because if we're willing to spend 50 odd million on a Zubamendi and we didn't get him, yeah, and we're not looking at another midfielder unless an opportunity comes along, and you sell one of your assets in Gomez because he wants to leave, and you get 50 million for him or 60 million, and you just sold another centre back that you didn't want to sell out either, but you got 25 million for him. The maths makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to a 70 million pound signing. And Braithwaite is a 70 million pound signing if Everton rate him at 70 million. So you go and buy him. You don't have any issues with him moving to Liverpool because he lives here. He doesn't even have to move house. And he goes straight into our team. He goes straight into our team on the left side as a left back. And maybe next year we can then look at a left back to replace him, and he eventually replaces Virgil van Dijk. And you've literally got two of the England centre backs for the next 10 years playing next to each other. Like, please tell me that didn't work for Tottenham under Pochettino. Like, he literally had the two Belgium centre backs in Vertonghen and Arbevel. I can't pronounce his name. Aberveld. It makes perfect sense for me. It just does. Like, I don't see how it would. I don't see how there'd be riots. Like we're not in the 80s. Like Everton aren't competitors. Like they're nowhere near Liverpool. Like they're more near the Championship than us. Like it makes perfect sense to just go and give them a load of money, help them out, so they don't get relegated through PSR, and buy one of their star players who can then play for us and can be brilliant. And I don't think Brathwaite gives a shit. Like he's not an Everton fan. Like he was going to Man United. like he really cares. He's off to Man United. It just makes sense. Like for me, that just makes sense. And there's another person that I'll mention as well, who we're not linked with at all. However, we were for a long time. And it's Levi Colwell. Like, why is anyone talking about this guy? Like, this guy is also another player who is potentially an England centre back for the next 10 years. And he's also a player that can play left back because he played left back for Brighton for a whole year. So you've got a guy that can do both positions who you can probably also get for 70, 80 million from Chelsea. And you will be helping Chelsea massively because they need to sell their youngsters because of PSR. No, Chelsea were awful last season. Colwell wasn't awful. Chelsea were. I don't think he's garbage. Like, he's not garbage. He just isn't. And he's still only like 21. So you've also got another player there. Like, Lacroix has gone, mate. He's gone to Palace. Anyway, that's my spin on it. And I'm talking about two English players that are potentially will be England centre backs for the next 10 years. And they'll play next to Quansah, who will potentially be an England centre back for the next 10 years. Just makes perfect sense. Like, if Virgil van Dijk decides he wants to leave in a year's time, then you've got your replacement in Brathwaite, or you've got your replacement in Levi Colwell, who are all ball playing defenders. Like, and they're British. Like, I ain't got an issue with that. Have you? Homegrown suits me fine. Anyway, that's my whole look at that. I will talk about some of the other players we're linked with. Obviously, Gahey has been linked with us. That's from the BBC Sport. I just don't see Mark Gahey being sold now because they're going to sell Joachim Andersen, who I also think is a very good player, by the way. Like, I wouldn't have minded Joachim Andersen at Liverpool. I think he's a very good player. I'm not sure about him. Like, he's Dutch league, mate. Like, Joachim Andersen's played in the Premier League for like 4 years. Like, and his passing is unbelievable, by the way. Like, if you want a guy that can do what Virgil van Dijk does for passing wise, Joachim Andersen is your guy. Like, watch him. Some of his diagonals are phenomenal. I think he's a really good player. I don't think Nunes would like him, but looks like he's going to Fulham. Fulham are spending money as well, like spending cash. Fulham. Another player that we've been linked with is Mo Simikin. The only thing about him is Mohamed Simikin is a right-footed player, and he's right-sided. He can play right back as well. I don't see that being a viable option because we haven't got any left-footed centre backs. And if you just look at Dutch coaches, they play with left-footed centre backs, like all of them. Like, I'm going to show you some of Slot's old teams. They all had left-footed centre backs. Obviously, someone's mentioned David Hanchko. He's a left-footed centre back. You can play left back. Like, we need one. He needs one. He wants one. Another player that's been linked is Not him. It's garbage that. Pierre Nkapie. According to Ecuador newspaper, Leverkusen have set a price tag of 50 million. They've done this to see off any suitors because Atletico Madrid are heavily interested in him. But Atletico Madrid have now bought Le Monde, who was the Spanish centre back, who was in the Euros and very good, by the way. They signed him from Real Sociedad, by the way, who we tried to get Zubamendi from. And Real Sociedad have just sold Moreno to Arsenal. So I think the Zubamendi trains left the station now. So I think we can move on from that. Nkapie, I think he'd be a good signing. He's a really good ball player. He's really good at bringing the ball out from the back. I'll give you some of his numbers here. Actually, I've got this. Great. Where is it? What have I done with it? Here it is. So I'm just going to show you this on my screen. Can you see that? Can you see that? Yeah, you can. Okay, great. Yeah, so I've got this stat on him on Nkapie. So as you can see, his progressive passes are in the top 80 percentile. His progressive carries are in the 100 percentile. He's really, really good at bringing the ball from the back. High with assists, high with shot creation. I mean, he would be a brilliant addition. He just would. And he's also played like probably about 60% of his career as a left back. He can also play as a left midfielder. I think he'd be a terrific signing, and he'd be 50 million. Like, if he's already got a price tag, then and it does kind of make sense a bit that they're putting a price tag on him because Alonso was interested in Van der Beek because he offered 20 million for him. So maybe this is a guy that could be leaving, and he's looking to reinforce that area in case he does leave. Yeah, more of a left back than a centre back. You know how I feel. I think we need a left back right away. I think we need a starting left back, like not even backup, starting left back. I think starting left back is the biggest priority. No, I'm not. That'd be interesting. I might follow it. Cheers for that info. Eight Nori, yeah, but the only thing about Eight Nori is I think he's too attacking minded. I think we need someone who can be more defensive, and also be able to bring the ball out, and just be a solid option as well. I mean, Nkapie is quite tall as well. I think he's over 6 foot, and wins a lot of headers as well. As you can tell, he's high in the tackles as well. Didn't win a lot of aerials, but if he's playing as a left back, then maybe he didn't have to. It's an interesting one. The reason why I haven't got Nkapie on there, Paul, is Nkapie's played one game as left back. Like, he's just not a left back. Like, it's a misnomer that anyone thinks he is. He's a centre back that plays on the left. Like, if you're going to buy him, you buy him as a Virgil van Dijk replacement for the future. Like, you just do. He's not a left back. Like, he's not played football there. So you're getting a guy that you're going to have to train to play like that. Not for me. The thing about Robinson is, why hasn't anyone else bought him? Like, that's my question. Like, if he's so good, why hasn't anyone come in and got him? Like, why didn't Tottenham go and get him? Like, they bought Pedro Porro. Like, why didn't any of the big teams go and get him? Like, that's what I mean. Like, everybody rates him so highly, but nobody's bought him. He's still playing at Fulham. Like, that's the thing. There's obviously something there which people don't like. Like, there's obviously something there that isn't making the bait isn't biting. So I don't know. Yeah, I think he's a really good player, DeMarco, but it's getting Italian players out of Italy. It's not going to happen, is it? What have we got? Braithwaite, absolutely. I think he's sensational, mate. I really do. I think he was brilliant last season. I think he was brilliant the season before. I think he was unbelievable against us, which I hate. Um, he is. He's a really good player as well. IB Lubaka, I think he's a really good player as well. I think he's probably someone we've looked at. I don't know. Maybe he hasn't played enough. He hasn't got 177 games under his belt, which seems to be the magic number. Um, I mentioned Chilwell, but I think he's made a quavers. He's also got a bit of an attitude problem. Apparently, like there's not a lot of people in his teams that like him. Um, Also, I think he's a bit overrated. I really do think he's a bit overrated. Okay, so moving on from that, I'm going to just bring you up the links to Simican. So a couple of these, obviously from the Echo, have got they're like the news stories, but I've actually found like where they come from. We've obviously got interest in the Leipzig guy, and also Lubeka's from Leipzig as well, by the way, just in case you didn't know. They both play for Leipzig, one on the left, one on the right. So he's unhappy that he can't progress his career. He's a French international. He's a good player, by the way, really good player. However, like he's a competitor to Canate in the French team. So where does that fit? Like what happens with Quansah? Does Quansah then become backup for Virgil? Like I haven't got an issue with that, by the way. Like I haven't got an issue if we decide that we sign a right-sided centre back and then Quansah becomes backup for Virgil. I've not got an issue with that because I don't think Quansah should play 50 games next season. Like I don't think he should. Like he's a 21-year-old kid who's played 16 games for Liverpool and he's been great, but it's his second season and he's a very young centre back. Like people don't normally sign young centre backs and play them in the first team because they're young centre backs and they make loads of mistakes because young players make mistakes because they learn. So throwing him straight into the first team and expecting him to be exactly what he was last season, I think's a bit ridiculous. I think it's a bit daft, which is why it made sense that he took him out when he put Canate in. So Quansah can be a backup player to Canate, and that's Quansah's level. Like Canate is a French international who's played a lot of football and played for two different clubs in two different countries. He's played for three actually, if you include the French team. I can't remember who they are, and he's still only 25. So Canate, without his injury record, is a player that should play, and games that he doesn't need to play, like cup games and Champions League early games and maybe some of the lower teams at home, then you bring Quansah in, and you've got no problem with that. Got absolutely no problem with that. And if we don't sign a centre back but we keep Gomez, then you play Gomez for Virgil as the left-sided centre back. I've got no issues with that. I've got no issues with a back four of Simicas, Gomez, Quansah, and Bradley against 10 of the teams in the Premier League in the bottom half. And if anyone else has, then I just don't know. I don't know what for you, because that's better than any of the back four of the 10 of the teams that we'll be playing against. Like, we could have played our reserve 11 against Ipswich, and it would have been better than Ipswich's first team squad. And that's just a fact. Like, it's just a fact. Like, our third choice goalkeeper was better than their first choice goalkeeper. Like, our third choice striker was better than all of their attackers. All of their attackers. Like, we brought a French international on and a Greek international on to play as centre back and left back. And we brought a Northern Ireland international who's their star player as right back. They are better than their entire back four, and probably better than most of the teams in the bottom 10. So I haven't got an issue with the squad we have. And Slot clearly hasn't either, by the way. And I'm going to show you some of this in a minute. I'm not going to read out any of the chat right now, but I will do in a bit. Okay, just bear with me. So obviously this is from Philippines, Sky Sports, Germany. So we're looking at him. So he's a potential person of interest in the future. I don't know how far down the line, but it is what it is. I'm pretty sure Owen Beck will leave. Celtic is looking like the team that's going to get him. So I think Owen Beck's time at Liverpool has come to an end. He didn't really have any. He's in the last year of his contract. I'd really have liked to have seen Owen Beck given a chance, but it's obvious that he's not. He's not in their plans for whatever reason. I don't work behind the scenes. I haven't seen him in training. I haven't spoken to the lad. Like, maybe he thinks he's a first team footballer already, which a lot of them seem to. Like, they've had loans, they've got a new manager or head coach, and they suddenly think that they're going to play for him. Like, that's clearly not going to happen. Sorry, I've just got to plug my headphones in. Yeah, that's clearly not going to happen, because you've got to put the hard yards in, and you've got to work hard. And some of these may well just think they can walk in. And Slot's not an idiot. You know, Slot's probably seen it and gone, yeah, you're going to be a problem, mate. You're off. You're off. You're off. Apparently, rumours are that the Fabio Carvalho wouldn't have even gone on the USA tour if Cody Gapco would have been available. That's what I've heard. So maybe he was gone out the door before we even thought so. Owen Beck. Yeah, I think so. He's a French. He's a Welsh international as well. Owen Beck. I do like Owen Beck. I think he should maybe get a chance, but is what it is. I think what's really interesting as well is, like, Simicast clearly isn't rated. Like, whatever Simicast seems to do, it just doesn't seem to be enough. He doesn't get picked like as a first choice by anybody, no matter what happens. Like I think the only chance he's going to get picked is if we end up with having nobody in the team, because he'll play centre backs as left back instead of him. Chambers is an interesting one. I think Chambers has got a future. I think he has. I think Chambers maybe should have stayed behind and been back up to Robbo, but he's getting football now on a regular basis, and we'll see how that goes. I don't think Eight Nori suits us. I don't think he suits our system. You need to watch how we play, mate. Like we don't play with a gung ho left-sided player. He's more defence-minded, and he also tucks in. If you watch the game, if you watch the pre-season with Tsimikas tucked in so much. Like it's interesting, and that's why I think Gomez would be really good. I think Gomez would be really good because he can play centre back, so he knows how to tuck in. He knows how to defend bases. He's also really quick, and he's actually a good passer of the ball. Gomez, like our best centre back pairing for a time was Virgil van Dijk and Gomez. Like clip that if you want, but it was 2019, 2020. They had the best centre back pairing in the Premier League at the time. Like we won 28 games on the bounce with those two next to each other. That is just a fact. Like he was so integral to us winning the league. He really was. Like call him what you want. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about a couple of other players. Not that one. I'm going to talk about this one, which is interesting because this one doesn't seem to be going anywhere. I've done 43 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna cover this, and then I'm gonna have to skip. And I want to talk about squads because I didn't realize I've done 45 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun, eh? So if I showed you these numbers, you can already see his name. So someone's done some numbers on Rabiot, and Rabiot looks like a Rodri. like, like, say what you want, but he looks like a Rodri on paper. Like, he's really good at passing, really good at take-ons, really good at progressive passing, good at interceptions, good at tackles. His numbers really do stack up against a Rodri, and he's available on a free. Like, you've just got to deal with his mum. But that is an interesting one. Like, it really is. Like, he's never injured, by the way. Like, he's not on mad wages. He's on he wants 200 he wants 230 grand, I think, a week, which is a bit insane. However, he's a World Cup winner. He's won loads of titles. He's won loads of cups. He's been at Juventus for years, and he was brilliant for them. He's a guy that you could just go and get, like literally, just ring him up, ring his mum up. Yeah, we'll pay him. Okay, great, done. Comes to Liverpool. Like, I think it's a mad one, but I mean, Endo was a stopgap. Rabiot's a stopgap. Rabiot's a stopgap. Like 2 years, fine. Sell him. Go to Saudi Arabia. Go back to France. Like he's a guy. I could see it. I could see it at Barcelona. I could see it at Bayern Munich. I'm surprised Arsenal didn't go for him. I really am. I really am surprised Arsenal didn't go for that guy. Man United are looking at him. I'm surprised Man City haven't gone for him, if I'm honest. I really am. Like, he's a top player, and he is available on a free transfer. Like, that is nuts. Like, I think he is. I actually think he is a Liverpool fan. Like, it's crazy. Anyway, don't be surprised if he turns up at Liverpool on the last day of the window. A bit like what was his name? Who was the Brazilian guy who played 17 minutes? If we don't get anyone because whatever reason, and the opportunity comes along to get him on a free, that is an option. That is an option for me. Anyway, and I'm fine with it, by the way. The reason why no one will go for him is because Arthur. That's it. Arthur, big up, AZ 100s. I haven't seen you on here before, mate. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and if you do, let me know, and we'll give you a welcome. I mean, he's free. I don't want Sterling. I don't want Sterling. Think about Sterling though. Sterling can play on the right, and we haven't got backup for Salah. I don't know. Okay, he is press resistant. You're absolutely right, and he had a really good Euros as well. Like he's a good player. Okay, so that was the Rabiot bit. Okay, what I wanted to show you now is, actually, I want to do the thing on Alisson. So this is interesting. Let me know what you think in the chat. So Alisson has been asked about Arne Slot, and basically he wants Liverpool to have more clean sheets. Clean sheets. He understands the importance of clean sheets, of having a team that can defend really well, being solid, being compact, being consistent. This is going to carry us through the season and will win us games. We know the offensive quality we have, so if we can defend the same way as we attack, it can be. If we can be that good, it will be really good for us this season to achieve our goals. That is from Alisson. So it's all about keeping solid at the back and not conceding goals. That is music to my ears, because we had a habit of Ali having to pull off worldy after worldy after worldy because we'd leave ourselves wide open at the back. Keeping ourselves compact and having clean sheets will win you the league. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. Normally, the team that wins the league is the one that concedes the least goals. That's just a fact. We won the league because we conceded the least goals, and we also won the most games. But we've won the most games and not won the league twice. We've done it twice. We've won more games than Man City and got beat by Man City to the league. It's just a fact. So we need to stop conceding goals. And we conceded more goals. There was only one team that conceded more goals than us in the first 15 minutes in the Premier League last season, and that was Sheffield United. Just let that sink in. And they got relegated. And they got relegated by an insane amount of points, like 9 points or something stupid like that. Like they broke records, they were that bad. And we conceded more goals in the first 15 minutes than anybody else apart from them. That's how bad we were. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Anyway, so that was Becca, that was Ali talking about Slot wants clean sheets, which is great. So what I'm going to talk about now, I'm just going to close a couple of tabs because it's making my screen freeze. It's probably because I've got Twitter open. Actually, what I will do is I will talk about this quickly. So I'll talk about this quickly. So this is another player that wants to leave, in case you didn't know. So Dave O.C. Kopp has now talked about Tyler Morton wants to leave, even though Arne Slot wants him to stay. So he's going to be leaving. We want 20 million for him. Obviously, a couple of teams have looked at him, Leipzig, Seville. I think there's a couple of Premier League teams. So I wouldn't be surprised if he left towards the end of the window. But he's asked to leave now. This is the exodus. This is the culture that we've installed in the last few years into the club. It really is. It's a poor culture of players that expect to play. Like, that's not how it works. Like, you have to work hard to play football. Like, it's a bare minimum. It's a culture that's been installed in the club, like, of being able to arse around and not be good and still get picked because Jurgen was there and he likes friends over trophies. Like, he likes relationships over accomplishments. Like, this has to change. And this is why we've got Edwards and we've got Hughes in. I'm telling you, we got Edwards in because FSG were like, what the hell is going on with this club? Like, we've literally got 3 of our star players who are all assets, all running out of contracts. And you've got all kinds of crap going on in the background with directors of football leaving, like fitness coaches basically telling scouts that they can't do their job, and all kinds of disarray. And you've got a manager just running amok, like literally running the club. Like, that's why Edwards came in, because FSG were like, we need someone to sort this out, or we're going to end up like, I don't know what, like like just signing 3 left wingers when you don't need one. Like, not buying any midfielders or buying any defensive midfielders or centre backs when you need them. Like, just mental stuff. Like, buying players for like 80 million and 70 million because they had one good season and playing them in the wrong positions. Like, it's just, honestly, the club was a madness. The club was a madness. And that's why we got him in. And it's going to take time. Like, it's going to take time. Like, we're all complaining about these transfers and all of this stuff that hasn't happened. So much has already happened. And how can you sort contracts out with players when you haven't got a manager? Like, how can you sort contracts out with players when the manager doesn't even know who he wants because he hasn't looked at the squad yet? And how can you sort anything out when you've literally got a guy that's still working for Bournemouth, because that's when we got Edwards in. Like, Hughes was still working for Bournemouth, and we were trying to get Xabi Alonso for months. So we didn't have a manager in place because we were after Alonso. He was our first choice. Like, he turned us down, so we went for Slot. Like, he was our second choice, or maybe third choice. I don't know. But they've had so much to deal with. Like, they had to change everything at the AXA training ground. Like, and there's so many players that have got attitude problems by the look of it that we've had to bin and get rid of. Like, I think so much has been done already. Like, if we sign 2 players by the end of the window, I think that's success. Like, I really do. Like, I think it's success. I just do. Like, and get those players on contracts. Anyway, I digress. I was going to bring up the Trent stuff because Trent's been in the papers, but actually I will. I'm gonna do an hour and a half. Okay, so I wanted to bring this up in case you haven't seen it. So Trent's been in the papers with people saying that he's being offered 400,000, 400 or 500,000 a week by Real Madrid. I just wanted to let you know it's crap. It's absolute crap because it hasn't come from any outlets. It's basically came from commentators' mouths. Like, so this came from Ben Foster. Like, what does Ben Foster know about Liverpool FC? Apart from you were never good enough to play against us for the team that you played all your life for in Manchester United. Like, what does he know about Liverpool FC? Like, does he personally know Trent? No, he doesn't. He's got a YouTube channel like me. And he talked about it, saying, oh, well, I think he's worth 100 million and I think he'll get 400, 500. How does that get into the Mirror newspaper as actual news? It's absolute ass. It's arsery. It's just stupid. It is. It's just nonsense. I don't believe it. And then there's this other joker. who I can't stand because he hates Liverpool. And it's so obvious that he hates Liverpool. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Chris Sutton. Oh, it's odd. Both players, Alexander-Arnold and Virgil van Dijk, are running down their. They're not running down their contracts. They're not running down their contracts. Running down their contracts means that they've gone past the 12-month point, and they're now in the point where they're leaving on freeze. They're not. They don't get to that point for another 5 months. Like, don't believe the shit. Do not believe the shit that comes out of these people's mouths. And the reason why I'm telling you this, okay, the reason why I'm telling you this, and I'm going to put my main screen on now because I'm going full screen on this. The reason why I tell you this about Trent, Virgil, and Mo Salah, okay, and this is the reason why I say this. If those three players want to leave Liverpool, do they look like they do? Do they look like they want to leave Liverpool? Do, as Mo's facial expressions showed that he's not happy at the club? Like, does Trent look moody? Does Trent look unhappy? Trent looks like he's having a great time. Virgil looks fine. Like, have any of them came out and said, "Oh, I'm leaving"? Have any of them came out and talked about contracts? None of them. None of them have. Like, like, has there been any credible news or media outlet that has actually reported that there's been an offer or one of them said they're going? None. Not one. Nobody. And I also want to bring back your memory, because if you remember, it came out from Paul Joyce that if any Liverpool players go into their last 12 months of their contract and they don't want to renew, by the 18-month point, they will be sold. No players are going into the 12-month contract without signing. If there's any inkling that they won't sign, then the club will sell them. It came from Paul Joyce. It came from Paul Joyce months ago. Like, go and look for it because he said it. And have any of these players been put up for sale? Has there been any inkling that we're going to sell any of them? None. Absolutely zero from anybody who's credible at all. These three guys will be staying at the club. No free transfers, no sales. They will be staying at the club, and we will be signing new contracts with them in due course. And if you think about it, what's more important right now? What's more important right now? Slot assessing the squad and finding out who he wants and who he doesn't want, yeah? And maybe making some money to pay three guys who are probably all going to get a pay rise and probably a signing on bonus, yeah? Or signing those three guys up to contracts, yeah? When you don't need to do it yet, you don't. Like, you can do it after the transfer window's finished. Like, because how much crap have we heard from Liverpool fans and the like saying, "Oh, well, we got Trent on a new contract. That's going to be a new signing." How many times have we heard that? Everybody's still talking about it now. So just wait. Just wait. And if any of them do leave, then we know we got some money from all the players we sold to buy someone to replace them. But there's been no talk at all about any of them. Like, even Trent has said clearly he wants all his contract dealings to be kept private. Virgil van Dijk got asked, he got asked about what's your future. He was talking about Holland. He wasn't talking about Liverpool, because when he got asked the question, he was at a fucking Dutch game. Like, he'd just been in the Euros. Like, he's not talking about Liverpool. He's talking about Holland. How do you feel about your future? Well, I'll have to go away and think about it. He's talking about whether he wants to carry on playing international football. And Mo Salah's agent said nothing. Like, Mo Salah's agent is always chatting. He's not said a word. And if you remember what happened last time, we sold a load of players, got a load of money, and then gave Mo a big contract. And he went down to the last 12 months, by the way, when we renewed his contract last time. And do you really think Mo looks like he wants to leave? Mo looks like he wants to stay for another 3 years. So that's all I'm saying on the matter. Like, ignore all of the crap, okay? If we don't sign any players and we sell Gomez and we sell Shimikas and we sell Morton and we maybe sell another player, I'm here for you. Like, I'm here for it. I will do a show about what the hell's happened. Why didn't we get these players in? I'm here for you. But what I'm going to show you now is a little bit of history of Slot. And don't come at me and don't unsubscribe. I'm just showing you some history on Slot. And Slot has said he wants 17 players for his squad, and anybody else isn't training with the first team. If he said it, he said it, and he'll probably say it tomorrow in the press conference. He wants a small squad, and I will show you what he means by that. Okay, so bear with me and don't unsubscribe and don't turn off. Okay, I'm just going to put the screen back on. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. And if you're a new subscriber, please let me know in the chat, and we will welcome you to the channel. Just to let you know. Okay. 2 seconds. Let me just share my screen again. Why am I sharing my screen? Oh, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the Feyenoord squad. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the Liverpool squad, because this one cracked me up. Okay, this one cracked me up. I just need to close a few screens. 2 seconds. This one I think you'll find funny. It's that Liverpool FC page. It's taking up so much memory. Where are we? 2 seconds. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to show you, this is going to make you laugh. Okay, so I'm going to do an hour and a half. Okay. Does someone say Jamie's doing a show now? What's that? Oh yeah, you did, mate. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the team that we had last year and how many times the players played, and then how many times players didn't play. Okay, and I just want to make this clear. This is just data. Okay, don't have a go at me and don't come at me. Okay, I'm just showing you the data. Okay, and this is also the reason why we probably sold some of these players. Okay, just saying. Right, last season, the player who played the most, which you find amazing, is Darwin Núñez. He played 54 matches last season, 18 games. Sorry, 18 goals, 3,000 minutes. This is all up, by the way. This is all up. This is every game, by the way. Harvey Elliott, 53 games, 2,700 minutes. Cody Gakpo, 53 games, 16 goals he got last season. Did you know that? All in all competitions. Luis Diaz, 51 games, 13 goals in all competitions. He played more minutes than the others, though, 3,600. Joe Gomez, I know, 51 games, over 3,000 minutes. The second time he's done it in his career. Obviously, their ages are different because it was last year. Virgil van Dijk, 48 games, 4 goals, 4,000 minutes. He played more minutes than any other player in the team. Alexis McAllister, 46 games, 7 goals, 3,500 minutes. McAllister had more minutes than Nunes and Hakpo. Dominic Szoboszlai, 45 games, 7 goals, 2,700 minutes. Can we all let that sink in, by the way? Can we all let that sink in before we all have a go at how crap Dom was last season? Dom got the same amount of goals as Alexis McAllister and played, what, 800 minutes less? Just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah? Mo Salah, 44 games, 25 goals, 3,100 minutes. And he had a bad season. Honestly, mental. Wataru Endo, 43 games, 2 goals, 2,700 minutes. Ryan Gravenberch, I didn't know he played 38 games. 38 games, 4 goals, 1,800 minutes. That's not bad. Like, that's not bad. Like, he's like a new player. Like, he could play 50 games this season and maybe get more goals. Like, and he's only 22 now. That's really, really interesting. Like, if you look at it like that. I'm just going to bring the screen up. Ibrahim Konate, 37 games, 2,500 minutes. Injury prone, still played 37 games. Played the same amount of games as Trent, by the way. 3 goals. Curtis Jones, 36 games, 5 goals, 2,000 minutes. Gerald Quansah, 33 games. This isn't the Premier League, by the way. This is all games. 3 goals, 2,400 minutes. Allison, 32 games. Jota, 32 games, 15 goals, 1,700 minutes. Can you imagine how good Jota is going to be up front for us this season with those numbers? Absolute predator Jota. Andy Robinson, 30 games, 3 goals, best goal tally he's ever had. Queven Keller, 26 games. Costas, 25 games. Bradley, 23 games. Bradley only played 23 games last season. We were raving about him so much. It's crazy, isn't it? Joel Matip, 14 games. Obviously, got injured and then that was him. I just want to find, where's that page? There. Okay, and this is where it gets interesting. Okay? So this is kind of the realization, yeah? Okay. Bobby Clark, 12 games, 1 goal. Is he going to play 12 games for us this season? What do you think? Probably not. We played 2 pivots. And we play 110 now. Where does he play in there? Like Stefan Bajcetic, Tyler Morton's there, Endo's there? Probably not. So 10 million for a guy that you paid 1.5 million for? I mean, I wanted him to stay, but he's going to be what, 8th choice, 9th choice? Like, so no. So he's gone. James McConnell, 9 games. He's gone. Ben Doak, 5 games. Are we really going to miss him? No, he's gone. Jaden Dans, 5 games, 2 goals in 78 minutes. That's a guy you keep around. That's a guy you keep around in case you need a guy to come in and play in the cups. You keep him around. He's a guy I'd keep. Luke Chambers, 4 games. Is he going to play any more games for us this year? Probably not. We've got 2 left backs and we've got Gomez, who played 50 games last season. So no, on loan. Kate Gordon, 3 games. No, send him on loan. Stefan Bajcetic, 3 games. No, send him on loan. Callum Scanlon, 2 games. Send him on loan. Lewis Kumas, he's gone on loan. Trey Ione, 16 years old, played 1 game, was on the bench for six times. Is he worth keeping around? Probably. He's 16 years or he's 17 years old, so he's not really going to play in anyone's games. Keep him around, just like Jayden Danns. Give them a pathway, just like Jayden Danns, just like Trey. Clear pathway to the first team. Owen Beck, 1 game. Get rid of him. Matalowski, 1 game. Get rid of him. Why are you keeping these players around? Like, what is the fascination with you all wanting to keep these players? And this is what I'm trying to show you. Like, what is this fascination in keeping these players at the club? He never played for us. Adrian played 1 game in 3 years. Gone. Good. Mozrek, he's gone on loan. So what? He didn't play for us. Jaros, he's now fair choice goalkeeper. That's okay. He didn't play for us. Pitaluga didn't play for us. Nallo, he's a great backup player. He was on the bench twice. Keep the pathway open for him by getting rid of Seth van der Berg, getting rid of Nat Phillips, getting rid of Reece Williams. Kept the pathway open for this guy. Tom Hill, get rid of him. Nat Phillips, get rid of him. Reece Williams, he's gone. Fabio Carvalho, he's gone. Didn't play. Calvin Ramsey, he's on loan. These guys aren't going to play football. Move them on. Get rid of them. There's no point keeping them around. Like, you're blocking pathways for players. You keep defensive players, then Amara Nallo doesn't get a chance, and he looked really good in pre-season, and he's 17 years old. Like, he can be another Kwanzaa. Jaros, keep the pathway open. Sell Keller. Jaros becomes your second choice goalkeeper. He's a Cheshire international. Makes perfect sense. This is what we're doing. We're doing the right things now. We're not keeping players around when they're not going to play. Just like Tyler Morton. Tyler Morton had a good loan. Never played for us last season. Like we care. Like season before, he barely had any games. Like, I like Tyler Morton. I'd love him to stay. But he wants to play football. And he thinks he should be playing football. So sell him. Get 20 million for him. Invest it. Invest it into a player that can replace someone in the first team. And this is where it makes sense. Okay? Now this is where it makes sense. So Liverpool sell those players and you replace some of these players. So you replace a Joe Gomez if he goes because he wants to play. You replace a Wataru Endo because he was a stopgap and he's an older player and he's not going to play as much this season. Or you replace Andrew Robinson, who's 31 years old next month, or no, in February. And he gets injured now. He said he's been playing with pain for 4 months. You replace these players who are on the decline, who aren't good enough for the team anymore. You replace Kostas Tsimikas, who's never been good enough for the team. You know, this is what you do. This is what you do. This is what we're doing. And we're looking to replace them with world-class players. With world-class players, because it's been said that we will only buy players now that are the finished product. We're going to buy a McAllister. We're going to buy a Virgil van Dijk. We're going to buy a Mo Salah. Like, these are the players we're going to buy. We're going to buy an iteration of Mo Salah when we bought him last time. We're going to buy a McAllister when we signed him. We're going to buy a Virgil van Dijk when we signed him. If we have to spend 70 million, we spend 70 million. We're going to do things the right way now. You just need a bit of patience because they've literally just walked in the door and had to change everything. Everything. I think the only thing that didn't change was the tea lady. Like, we've had to change everything. And the amount of players who have left the club is unbelievable. But they needed to because they weren't needed and they were just taking up space. Nat Phillips is going, mate. Nat Phillips is going. Like, David Ornstein said on the overlap that Nat Phillips is going. And that's what I'm saying. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you Feyenoord's team when Slot arrived. Okay. And I'm going to show you his squad that he finished the season with. Okay. Bear with me. Okay. Okay. Now we're looking at Arne Slot's team. Okay. Okay. We're not looking at it as a formation. I'm looking at it as a player statistics, how many games they played. Okay. And I want you to count the numbers because they kind of make sense to what we have now to what he has then. Okay. And don't come at me and don't unsubscribe and don't write any hate because I'm just giving you what I read. Okay. Here we go. Danilo, 48 games, centre forward. Koku, 46 games, centre midfielder. I mean, we can talk about the goals if you want, but that's irrelevant. This guy did really well for him, who could be going to Nottingham Forest for 45 million. Santiago Guimarães, 45 games. David Hancho, 45 games. De Rosen, 43 games. Look where they play. Centre forward, centre midfielder, centre forward, centre back, right winger, another right winger. He loves to play his wingers. He plays two wingers a lot. So the wingers will get the same amount of game time, but they'll be split. So one will do one half, one will do the other half. I think it will happen a lot. Diaz got taken off, and no, Diaz didn't get taken off. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Did Diaz get taken off at the weekend? Or was it Jota? It was Jota, wasn't it? Jota came off at the weekend, didn't he? Yeah, it was Jota for Hapco. Yeah. Anyway, Dairuson, right winger, 43 games. I can't pronounce that. 41 games. Getrude, 41 games. He could be going to Aston Villa, by the way. It's really close. Pedersen, 40 games. Sebastian, 40 games. Adrissi, 38 games. Paxio, 37 games. Can you see the wingers had the same amount of games? Really similar. Matt Reefer, 37 games. Let me just count these as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, we're on 13. Just remember the number. 13, the goalkeeper, 34 games. 14, left back, 33 games. 15, centre back, 31 games. 16, Timber, 31 games. Lopez, 17, 28 games. Wellmark, 21 games. 16. Bultitude, 15 games. 17. Walton Roofer, 14 games. 18. And Ramison, 12 games. 19. That's 19 players, and only 17 of them played over 20 games. Do you see where I'm going? Do you see where I'm going, chat? 17 players played over 20 games, and only 15 of them played over 30 games. Do you really think Arne Slot is going to have a 25-man squad all playing over 50 games. He just isn't. He just isn't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to break your heart, and I'm sorry to tell you how it is, but Arnie Slot doesn't have a big squad. He doesn't. You know what? They played in the Champions League, mate. They played in the Champions League. Sorry, they played in the Champions League and got to the Europa League final with that squad. You can come at me all you want, mate. Come at me all you want, but they got to the Europa League final with that squad and finished second. They just did. Like, they just did. This is the year before they won the league. This is the year they won the league. No, they won the league this year. They won the league that year. They won the league that year and they got to a final. Like, the next squad I'll show you is the one where they finished second and they won a cup. And they also got to a quarter final in the Europa League. And they got to and they played in the Champions League again. Like, look, I get it. I get it. But I'll show you Jurgen's squad, mate, because Jurgen didn't play that many more players. Jurgen didn't play many more players than this. And this is the comparison I want to give you. We are getting a manager that is similar to Jurgen. He doesn't like big squads. He doesn't like big squads. The only reason we will sign a player is if a first team player leaves. And we have not sold a first team player yet. We haven't sold one this window. We just haven't. If Gomez goes or Endo goes, we will sign a first team player to replace them. The only reason why we were getting Zubamendi is because he became an opportunistic buy that we thought that we could get. And he was the only person that was really there that we thought, yeah, we'll do that regardless. Like whether we think we need him or not, we wanted him personally. We weren't looking for him. We weren't looking for a number 6. We weren't looking for a number 6. It's a fact. Like David Ornstein's talked about this. Like you can go and clip it from the Athletic. We weren't looking for a number 6. He came available, and we decided we will try everything we can to get him out, to get him in the team. It's just a fact. If we'd have signed Zubamendi, we'd have sold Endo. We signed Zubamendi, we'd have sold Endo. We're replacing first team players with first team players. That's what we're doing at the club now. Anyway, I'm going to show you the second season. That was the season. So that's the squad, 22-23, yeah? And that was when they were in, that was when they got to the Europa League final and they won the league, okay? This season, which was last season, this was when they were in the Champions League, okay? And they came third in the Champions League and then went into the Europa League and then got to the quarterfinals in the Europa League and won the cup and finished second by like 4 points. Okay. And this is the squad he had then. And I'm going to show you it. Like, come at me all you want, but I'm giving you the numbers. This is what I do. I give you the numbers. Like, no one's looked into this. I don't know why nobody has looked into what does Slot do? Like, what does Slot do? Like, how big's his team? Like, how many players does he play? Like, does he play lots of? Does he give his left backs loads of games? Does he rotate lots? Nobody's even looked into it. No one's done a show talking about this, and I find it mad. I really do find it mad because everyone's kicking off about all these players we're not signing. We're not signing them because he doesn't play. He doesn't play them. Like, he's not Chelsea. He doesn't play 50 players. So I'm going to give you the numbers again. Hancho, number 1. I'll just count down, okay? I'll count. 48 games. 7 goals he scored, by the way, last season. Like Gertrude, right back, 9 goals he scored last season from right back. Like these are like central midfielder numbers. Like when you've got attacking midfielders. Paxio, 45 games, 12 goals. Timber, midfielder, 44 games, 8 goals. Can you see where we're going here? We're going to score a lot of goals from midfield. We're going to score a lot of goals from midfield. Stengs, 43 games, 8 goals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Matt Weaver, 42 games, 6 goals, 6. Gimaresh, 41 games, 26 goals. Can you see how good his numbers are? An interesting player, that. Hartman, 38 games. Ueda, 37 games, 5 goals. Minter, 37 games, 12 goals. Zaruku, 36 games, 1 goal. Ivanusic, 34 games, 3 goals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're on 12. Neundup, 30 games. 13. Linger, 27 games. 14. Trauma, 27 games. 15. Weltenhofer, 26 games. 15. Sorry, 16. That's 16 or 15. Baven, 26 games. 17. Goalkeeper, 24 games. 18. I can't pronounce his name. 23 games. 19. There you go. 19, and then they drop. They drop drastically. Okay. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, also, his goalkeeper's always injured, so he always has to play another goalkeeper, like for quite a lot. I just wanted to point that out. He also got his centre back was injured for a long time as well in him, so he probably had to rotate 2 players in that he probably wouldn't have played that much. So that's probably the reason why it's actually 17 and not 15 before it drops off. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. He doesn't have big squads. He doesn't play a huge amount of players. And just look at these guys, 17, 18. He's playing kids for the others. He got to a Champions League. He played in the Champions League. He got to a quarter final in the Europa League. He won a cup and he came second in the league. And he played 17 of his players over 20 games, and the rest were below. He doesn't have a big squad. Now, can we look at Liverpool? Shall we look at Liverpool? I'm going over 130 here. I know that. Shall we look at Liverpool? There's 79 of you in here. Do you want me to look at Liverpool's squad now? And you can see the similarities. Cool. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at Liverpool. And you can see the similarities. Okay, I'm going to count the team from last season. All right. I just want to check it's on the screen. It is. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And then there's a huge drop off. I mean, there's a massive drop off there. And the reason why, and I'll put it in here, the reason why we got big injury to Gomez, big injury to Allison. We had to play Kellamore, so he got more minutes. Otherwise, he would have been on 10. Simicast would have been on 10. Connor Bradley would have been on 0 because Trent would have played. Matip would have been higher and Quansah would have been on 0. Guys, Klopp is no different. He has 15 players that he plays. He has 15 players that he plays in the squad consistently, and the rest The rest he doesn't. Like the rest is very, very minimal. And I'm going to show you the squad here, okay? Actually, I'm not going to show you the squad here. I'm going to show you the squad here. So I'm going to show you the lineup builder that I've done. Okay. All right. This is Arnie Slot's team. This is his team. Okay. These guys will play 40 to 50 plus games. That is just a fact. Whether you like it or not, this is his squad. Allison's his goalkeeper, and he will play 50 games. If he's fit, he will play 50 games. Keller is backup, and he will play potentially 10 games. Trent, if he's fit, he will play 50 games. And Bradley will play potentially 20 games. Canate, 50 games. Quansah, 20 games. Virgil van Dijk, 50 games. Gomez, 20 games. Robinson, 50 games. Shimikas, 20 games. You see where I'm going? Work out the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gravenberch, 50 games. Curtis Jones, 20 games. 11, 12. McAllister, 50 games. Endo, 20 games. 13, 14. Diaz, 50 games. Gapco, 50 games. They play the same amount of games, the wingers. That's what Slot plays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Dom, 50 games. Elliott, 50 games. The midfielders play the same amount. They play the same amount. They get changed a lot. 17, 18, 19. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Salah, he's the 19. He's going to play 50 games. And then you've got Jota, 50 games. Nunez, 50 games. They rotate a lot. That's 21 players. That's 21 players that will all play in the team. And all of these will play 20 games. All of these here will play 20, 10, 15, 10, 15, 20 games. This back five here, they're all subs. And the rest will all play 30, 40 games. And you still have Joe Gomez. Sorry, you still have other players that I haven't mentioned, which I can show you now. Like we're going crazy about this team. Like they're not going to play. Like you've still got Jaros. Sorry, 2 seconds. You've still got Jaros. You've still got Nat Phillips. If Nat Phillips goes, Nat Phillips goes. But then you've got Nallo, who is a centre back as well, who can also play. You've still got Trey Nione. And if Patetic and Morton go, then you have Nione, which is obviously why Morton and Patetic are allowed to go. Like they're not first team players. And the forwards, you've got Jaden Dance. Like if the first team players leave, then they will be replaced. And this is what I'm trying to show you. I'm trying to show you that we have a really good squad with incredible depth. It's incredible depth. It is. There's 21 players there that can all play for Liverpool. Like, no matter what, I'm happy with playing any of those players on any given day in any game. Like, I'm happy with it. I'm absolutely fine with it. I think we need a left back and I think we need a right winger as support. But if Mo Salah doesn't get injured, he doesn't get to play. The right back doesn't play. So what do? Okay, so you probably switch Diaz over there for some games. Or maybe you play Dominic Szoboszlai over there for some games and Harvey Elliott. Like, there's rotation available. Like, you can rotate players. Okay, maybe Salah doesn't play. Okay, you can play Bradley there. Bradley's really good on the right wing. Like, there's definitely options there. And we have players that aren't even in that squad. I've just named 21 players that can all play football. And you've still got Stefan Bajcetic, which hasn't gone anywhere. Tyler Morton's gone nowhere. Nat Phillips is still around. I know it's Nat Phillips, but he's still a central defender that can play football in crap games. And then you've got Jaden Dans and you've got Trey Ione. Like, what I'm trying to say, like, if you want these players, like your Zubamendi's and your Anthony Gordons and your Hincapiés and your Mark Gahey's and all of these players, then you're going to have to get rid of one of these. And it doesn't look like he is. If Simicast goes, we get a left back. If Gomez goes, we get a centre back. If Endo goes, we get a midfielder. If Diaz goes, we get a winger. But if none of them go, then we might not sign anyone because we don't need them. And he doesn't play them. He doesn't have a big squad. Like, we already have an issue with young players that if they're not on the subs bench or in the first team, then they want to leave the club. So what do? Do you want to sign another youngster? Like, another youngster from somewhere who's got to integrate and he's a project and he might not be any good and you want to put him on the bench? Or do you want to give the chance to Trey Ione, who's had a brilliant pre-season? Or Amor Nallo, who's also had a really good pre-season? Like, Callum Scanlon looked really good pre-season. Like, do you want to give these guys a chance? Because they're the backup to the backup. Because what you're asking for is you're asking for a first team player. And unless a first team player leaves, then we ain't getting one. And this makes sense why we are trimming the squad. Because if we're trimming the squad down, then the squad depth is the names I've just mentioned behind these. And if any of them want to go because they're not playing enough, then we sell them. And then we buy a player. And then we buy a £30 million player or a £40 million player who can be on the bench and does have an opportunity to play. But where does he go if you sign him and you've still got Robinson and Tsimikas? This is what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, the loans make sense and the sales make sense because they need to get rid of the fat to be able to give someone an opportunity to come in. So if Gomez goes, Tsimikas goes, or Endo goes, we sign a first team player. But if they don't, then we won't. And if Mo leaves on a free, or Virgil leaves on a free, or Trent leaves on a free, which they won't, but if that does happen, then we know we have money to replace them with a superstar like a Bastone, who we've been linked with, or a Simakan, who we've been linked with, who's also on the right, or a Bakayoko, or an Anthony Gordon, who can play there. Okay, I've done 1 hour 40 minutes. I really hope you enjoyed this show because it took time putting it together, and I felt like it was something interesting to show you because I just think we need to look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is the manager doesn't have a big squad and he doesn't want one. And he never had one. He's never had one. Neither did Jurgen. Neither did Jurgen. Jurgen didn't have a big squad either. Jurgen played with 21 players last season. Guess what? There's 21 sat there. Arne Slot played with 17. And in total, 19. He's got 21 there. He's got more than he had last time. And if you really want to clip it, Pep Guardiola played with 19. Pep Guardiola got 19 players games last season and he won. Like, this huge squad mentality, it makes no sense. What needs to be done more is players need to be managed and they need to be rotated more. And that's what Arne Slot is going to do under the guidance of his new team. Well, it's not his new team. It's his team. Well, we haven't got 17, have we? Like we've got 21. I'm saying he had 17 in his last team. Like he's got 21 at his disposal here, mate. You're jumping the gun a bit there. I'm really glad you enjoyed the show. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. I'm going to go now. It's like 20 to 12. It's 20 to 12. It's like 20 to 1. Yeah, no. He's got more than 20. He's got more than 21. He's actually got 25. You include goalkeepers and also some of the youngsters. But if we sell more, as in if we sell Endo, if we sell Simicast Gomez, then 100%. Look, look, by the way, I'm giving you the numbers and I'm giving you the facts. I want a left back and a right winger and a midfielder, even if we've got 21. I want that, by the way. I'm not the one sat here saying, oh, I don't want signings. I want signings. I want signings. Like, I want Braithwaite. I want Braithwaite, absolutely. I wanted a Nana before he went to Villa, by the way. And we could have had two players that would have just fixed our team. And they both played at Everton. And they both didn't have to move home. Like, I wanted both those players. I talked about Anana for ages. Like, he's just a brilliant player. He's perfect. He scores goals. He's a monster. And he's ready to pop. Like, he's ready to explode onto the scene. Like, it's just a fact. Like, you know, we didn't go for them. We didn't go for them. But I want three players. I want left back, centre back who's left footed, and I want a Mo Salah backup. That's what I want at Liverpool, 100%. I wanted Elise, I wanted Anane, and I wanted Braithwaite or Levi Colwell. They were my three players all day long. Take them. If we can get Mohamed Kudus, amazing. But where are you going to put Kudus? Where are you going to put him? Like, where are you going to put him? You can't offer him first team football. He can't play for Salah, and we've got two left wingers, so he doesn't play there. And we've got three left wingers if you really want to throw Nunes in there. So, okay, I'm going on a bit now. All right, but I'm glad you liked the show. If you're tuning in now and you didn't see it from the start, please check it back because it took me a long time to go through it, and I'm the only person who's really covered this issue, or not. It's not an issue, but I'm the only person who's really covered this history of Arne Slot, and it might be worth looking at. Okay, big up everyone. Thanks everyone for helping me hit my 500. Like in the next week or so, if you ever want to give me super chats, you can. I appreciate it. I haven't got a feed like 100 kids, but every little helps. I might do a membership page as well where I do some in-depth like I spend a lot of time like working on statistical data and analysis, and I might do some private shows where you can get access as a member in the future, and I might get some pretty good guests on as well to be on those shows. We'll see how it goes. It's quite new. I'm quite new at this, so I'm kind of feeling my way along. But please check out my show tomorrow with Jamie Phillips. It's either at 12:30 or 1 o'clock, depending. And we're going to do a pre-match review of Brentford, and probably talk about some of our players because they've signed two of them. So that'll be fun. And then obviously next week on the Monday, I'm going to have Ensman on my show doing a match review, and hopefully you can talk about beating Brentford 5-0 at home. But I wish you good night and Godspeed, and stay positive. Like, we won with Slot. We've looked really good with Slot, and we've got a good squad. I'm out of here. Good night.